Hello guys, my name is Jahin Islam and I am again back with my BGS subject, and today I think I will discuss about chapter 6 with you and be ready for that. Okay guys, so our chapter 6, the name is climate and disaster. So from the name you can know that this whole chapter is about the climate of the world and the disaster which happens in the world, about all this thing. Okay, this chapter has 4 lessons: lesson 1, 2, 3 and 4. Our first lesson is climate change. So as you know my reading system, my teaching system, that first I will read the pages and then I will make you understand. So now let's start my reading. Everyone please pay attention to me, and you can see the page as it is from the NCTV book. So I will read now. Lesson 1, climate change. The definition of weather is average temperature, rainfall and air pressure during a short period, like a week. The definition of climate is the average weather over a long period, like 30 years. Bangladesh's natural location and climate put it at a risk of natural disaster like tornadoes, floods and earthquakes. But the climate is changing throughout the world for various reasons. Most are due to man-made pollution from factories and vehicles, which causes global warming. This in turn causes area of ice to melt and rivers to dry up, which further damages the environment. Climate change causes different impacts in Bangladesh: increased average temperature, heavy rainfall or less rainfall, more tornado, frequent severe floods, damage to agricultural land from increased salinity, trees and animals are destroyed, groundwater level is going down. When climate change becomes very severe, it causes more natural disaster. It is estimated that by 2050, 20% of Bangladesh's land area might be flooded by seawater. The impact on food production, housing, health, employment would be serious. Therefore, along with other ministries, the Ministries of Disaster Management and Relief has been working to manage the risk. Okay, as you know, I have done the reading. Now I will discuss the page with you. Okay, so this page is mainly about the weather and climate and about the climate change. There are 2 definitions. The first one is about weather. The definition of weather is that weather is the average temperature, rainfall of weather during a short period, like a week. And climate's definition is climate is average weather over a long period of time, like 30 years. Okay, the difference between weather and climate are: weather is average temperature of rainfall and air pressure during a short period of time, and the climate is the average weather over for a long period of time, like 20 to 30 years. I think you have understand the definitions and the difference of them. And Bangladesh's natural location and climate put a risk. Natural location and climate of Bangladesh has a risk of natural disaster like tornadoes, floods and earthquake. I think you know what's tornado, what's flood and what's earthquake. But the climate of Bangladesh is changing because of various different reasons. The most reason of climate change are the man-made pollution from factories and vehicles, and this thing cause global warming. And this global warming turned the area of ice to melt and the rivers to dry up, which damage the environment. Climate change causes lots of different effects in Bangladesh. The 7 effects are given below. The first one is the average temperature of Bangladesh gets increased. Second one is Heavy rainfall or rainfall happens in Bangladesh. Number 4, several floods frequently happens in Bangladesh in rainy season. Number 6 is the damage. The agricultural land becomes damaged because of salinity. Salinity means the salt mixed with the agricultural land and from water to land, and then the land destroys or is damaged, and trees and animals are destroyed. And I think we get water from tube oil, and where we get pure water. The pure water comes from underground. We collect the water from the ground, and then we process it in filter or something like this. So if the groundwater is not there, then how will you get water? So another impact is the groundwater level is also going down. So this is also a very dangerous effect. And when climate becomes very severe, it causes more natural disaster. Bangladesh's land, some people has estimated that by 2050, 20% of the Bangladesh's land area will be flooded by seawater. There will be lots of impact on food production, housing, health, employment, and this will be very serious. That's why ministries. That's why with other ministries, the Ministry of Disaster Management and the Relief has been working to manage the risk. Okay, guys. So I think you have understand the lesson. I will now go to page number 50. It's about it's lesson 2, and it's about the riverbank erosion. Okay, I'll read now. Riverbank erosion. Bangladesh is a country with many rivers. If the banks burst, valuable farming land is lost. Homes and villages may be lost, as well as roads, railways, and irrigation channels. There are great economic and social costs. The main natural cause of erosion is floods. The extra volume of water in the river puts pressure on the bank. If they burst, they cause immense damage. There are also man-made threats to riverbank, extracting sand from riverbed, cutting down trees near riverbanks, unplanned river excavation. The man-made causes combine with the natural causes to threaten the rivers that flow through our farmland and villages. Okay, this is the time to discuss this page. As you know, Bangladesh has lots of river. It's a riverine country. It's filled with river. If the bank of river is burst, I think you know what is bank of river. It's called Nodir Par in Bangla. Nodir Par, যেটা English হচ্ছে bank, the river bank. If the bank of river burst, then valuable farming land is lost. Homes and village may be lost, as well as roads, railways, and irrigation channels. How? I will tell you this now. You can see that besides the bank of river, many farmers cultivate food, or many people make home and breed. These can be lost if this bank burst. This can be damaged, and great economic and social cost will be suffered. The main cause of flood erosion is flood. The main cause of riverbank erosion, which means the bursting of a riverbank, is flood. Because when flood occurs, there are many extra water which comes, and this extra water puts pressure in the bank of river, and after they cannot take the pressure, the banks bursts and cause damage. There are also many man-made cause to riverbank. Those are extracting sand from riverbeds. It means to take sand from the side of riverbank. Number 2 is cutting down trees near riverbank. As you know that trees, the roots of tree hold the soil very firmly, very strongly. So if the trees are cutted, then how will they hold the soil? And when it's cut down, the soil becomes again soft, and that's why it's more easy to break. Number 3 is unplanned river excavation. Unplanned river excavation means you can see that some people make a hole inside the soil and take soil or sand from the river bed, the side of the river. And when this is done without any planning, the soil becomes very soft, and so as you know that the river bank becomes very soft and erosion happens. And when the and the man-made causes mixed with the natural causes, these man-made and natural causes to threaten the river that flow through our farmland and villages. It means that you can say in short that man-made cause plus natural cause equal to river erosion. And I think you know what the man-made causes I told, and the natural causes is flood. So I hope you have understand this page also. Now I'll go to 52. This page is about lesson 3, which is drought. I hope all of you know what's drought. It's called khora in Bengali language. Okay, now I'll read this page. Although some parts of country suffer from frequent floods, other parts suffer from drought. This is especially in the northwest, where there is less rain and fewer rivers. The man-made causes of drought include cutting down trees because the roots hold water in the soil and the leaves put moisture back in the air. Number 2, too much building covers the ground with concrete so that it does not absorb water. Air pollution from the factories also makes the atmosphere drier. The effects of droughts include river, wells, lakes and canals dry up. It is harder to cultivate crops in the field. Fodder for cattle becomes scarce. There is no rainwater to drink. Okay, let's discuss this page. This full page is about drought, which is known as khora. Now we know that many parts of Bangladesh suffers from flood, and like this, some parts also suffer from drought. This is especially the northwest area of Bangladesh. Here the rainfall is very less, and here there are fewer rivers than other places. There are man-made causes of drought are: man cut down trees. This is a cause because the roots of plant hold the soil, and when it's cutted, they cannot hold the soil more. Number two cause is too much people build too much buildings, and these hold the ground with concrete, with very strong power, and that's why the soil cannot absorb water. Number 3 cause is air pollution from the factories. The air pollution of factories make the atmosphere, make all the air drier. You know that air has water, and when it's dried, when the water is dried, the air becomes dry. And now I will talk about the effects of drought. There are 4 effects of drought. Number 1 is river, well, lakes all dry up. And it is harder to cultivate crops. As you know, to cultivate crops, water is needed. Without water, can you cultivate crop? Yes, you cannot. And at the time of drought, the water is less, so it's harder to cultivate crops. As there is less rain, so there are no rainwater to drink, and fodder for cattle becomes scarce. And so they cannot keep the cattle alive for so many times. Okay, now I will go to the last page of this chapter. That's about lesson 4. The name of the lesson 4 is earthquake, right? Okay guys, now I'll read about the earthquake and I'll read this page. So let's start. Bangladesh is at risk of earthquakes because of its geological position on the map. Zone 1 is in northeast is the most at risk, while Zone 3 in the southwest is at the least at risk. The government and developers should take precaution by building housing that can survive such shocks. A major earthquake can have secondary effects like tsunami, like flooding around the seashore. So guys, this chapter is mainly about the earthquake, the effects of earthquake. Bangladesh, I will describe it. Bangladesh is at risk of earthquake because of its geological position. You can see on the map. Here is a map given. This is the map of Bangladesh, I think you know. In the box you can see the Bangladesh earthquake zone. Zone 1, it's red color. The zone 1, and you can see there the zone 1 is in northeast. Zone 1 is the red portion, is the zone 1, and this is the northeast portion of the Bangladesh, and this place is at most risk of earthquakes. Zone 2, it's at the middle of zone 3 and zone 1. The risk of here is medium, not that much and not that much less. Zone 3 is at the southwest. It's green, it's in the southwest, and the risk is less here. I hope you have understand. Now about this, a major earthquake, I think you know what's major. A very strong earthquake can have secondary effects. Secondary effect, why it's called secondary effect? Because the first effect is the earthquake, the house breaks, like this you can see in the picture, the buildings has broken. This is the first effect, and secondary effects can happen like the tsunami. I think you know what tsunami. From under the water, the earthquakes, because of earthquake in the underwater, the soil gets becomes very hard. The soil gets shock, and because of the shock, the water of the sea also get a shock, as you know. And for this shock, tsunamis happen. Tsunami is flooding around the seashore. I think you all know what tsunami is. It's a natural disaster. I think our pages is done. I hope you understand everything. Okay guys, from this page, from this chapter I will say you many things. These are very important for you. I think it will be needed in your PEC exam. Okay, I will go to page number 1. This is the lesson 1. When I go to the lesson 1 in 48, in 49 you can see the sea extent. Here is the information. I'm reading the information. I'm telling the information. It's in short. A cyclone Sidr happened in Bangladesh during 2007 in the Bay of Bengal. Here in this cyclone 3,447 people died. Another cyclone happened in 2009. The name of it is Cyclone Ayla. Here 330 people died, but 8,208 people were missing, and over 1 million people became homeless. And more than 20 million people were at the risk of diarrhea. And now I will go to page number 51 after the page with the Riverbank Erosion, lesson 2. Here are also in sea extent there are some information. The Information Water Development Board, who are responsible for the Riverbank, are suggesting. Here a short question can come about this. What are the Development Board suggesting? This came in our PSC exam when I gave it last year. And the answer to it are building embankments for flood protection, maintaining sluice gates and culverts for irrigation, creating system of flood warning. Okay guys, now I will go to the page number 53, which is beside your lesson 3, Drought. Here is another information. It is the government of disaster manager is saying that 17% of almond crop, the main paddy crop in wet season, may be lost because of drought. I think you know what is almond, the main. Yes, you learned in the chapter 4 that there are three main type of rice, which are oats, almond, and boro, and 17% of almond crops can be lost because of drought. Okay guys, now I'll go to page number 55, which is beside lesson 4 earthquake. Here in B, right, you can there is information. Okay, first B, right, there is information. This is what will we do before, during, and after an earthquake. You have to learn this point, guys. You have to learn this point because this can also come in a broad question in PEC. The point says stay completely calm. If you are in bed, cover your head with a pillow. Shelter under a wooden table or something strong furniture. Stay away from balconies or furniture that could fall. If you are in a building, stand under a beam. After the first shock, leave the building and stay outside. Keep first aid supplies ready. And another information is there in C, extend. Collect some data. The information is in 25th April 2015 there an earthquake was held in Nepal. Okay guys, these are the information that I wanted to give you. Now I will end my lecture. I hope you understand something, learn something new, and understand the whole chapter. If any question about this chapter, write it in the comment box. And if my lecture is okay with no mistake, if you understand everything, then please like my video and subscribe my channel. Thank you for being with me for this time. And now I will take এখন বিদায় নেব, and bye bye, stay home, stay safe. Assalamu alaikum.